Did Ralph really get excited because he doesn't have to leave the basement? I don't have to leave. The basement is for me. I don't have to leave. The basement is for me. Like, really, sir? Okay, Ralph. And did this episode give us a whole lot? I mean, I think not, but we're going to make it do what it do because I had to come back to see you, my party peoples. So we just going to squeeze out of it what we can. All right. So with that being said, what's going on, y'all? It's your girl Taina to be here. Welcome to my chat party. I'm so glad that you could join me for a little bit, a lot of bit, fashionably late, fashionably early to come here. My little thoughts, my little opinions, my little views on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. ATL shouted. Do they even say that anymore? Season 16, episode number 7. To those of you who hit my dance floor last week, I appreciate y'all so much. And for those of you who joined the mother freaking guest party list, like what? I did catch 2 of y'all. So I'm definitely going to save all my little DJ shout outs for the end of the video. Why? Because one, a lot of y'all are like, I am not interested. I ain't come here for all of that. But it's important to me, y'all, okay? But secondly, because you always got to save the best of anything for last, all right? And so I appreciate y'all so much. There's a bunch that I didn't get to see, but I just know that guest list is guest listing again. And I am so grateful to you all for that. If you just, hit the like button because you're like, I ain't trying to do all that with the dance floor, I'm appreciative of that also. And just for your viewership, maybe you just came in to peek in at the party to see what was going on. So thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. We are going to get into this, okay? And say whatever it is that we can say from this old mess. All right. So I definitely asked or started off by asking, why are we starting this episode off with Nazaline? Okay. Nazaline and her husband. So apparently they're car shopping and that Ferrari was beautiful. In fact, I will admit, and blue is my freaking favorite color in the whole world. And I'm like, and she should have cocked her leg up in front of the salesman. Why? 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 So inappropriate and giving. Yeah, it ain't hard to tell. You may have been into some things back in the day. Okay. And when I tell you, I'm still waiting for her class to show up. Like, where is it? Because I ain't seen it yet. You know what I mean? I've been waiting. And so I want to know also, speaking of the back in the day stuff, did y'all see the clip that was going around about, or not about, with her and Stevie J? And I remember this was last week, y'all, so forgive me. I can't remember the exact details. She was prepping for something like getting her makeup done, and he was standing behind her talking a little bit of craziness. And they're talking about his little production. I want to believe it's something adult related, and definitely seemed like she was all for it, allegedly, or definitely encouraging it. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely interesting. And I heard that she did do a video allegedly with him, if you know what I mean. Okay. And when I tell you, Stevie J, if y'all don't know who he is, he's got to be one of the sleaziest people walking the face of the planet. I tell you. And what's even more scary, y'all, it's like right now as we speak, straight right here, what I'm looking at, I have on my desk a picture of myself when I graduated from law school. And then right next to it, I have a picture of my husband when he graduated from college. And if y'all know Stevie G and that little rat face he likes to make, for whatever reason, my husband is making that face. I know it was a really just important day for him for many reasons, but I'm like, did you have to do the Stevie J face? And he looks just like Stevie J in the picture, a young Stevie J. I should have asked him before I hit record on this video if I could show y'all. I could see him being like, nah, babe, chill, don't show them that. It is scary, but that's my boo. He got to stay there, whatever. And so, anyways, Drew arrives at Angela's house and she has her Libra bag. And it was so adorable, like a little martini shaped thing. And I said, oh my gosh, for it to be so small, $6,000, 6 G's, ouch. But again, they got to give us the money and everything like that. And Drew got caught in a lie, right? Because per usual, she's trying to make us believe something that just ain't the truth. Angela revisits the whole fact of her saying that she was Michael Jordan's cousin. And I said, you have got to be a little cray if you even believed it when Drew said it. Okay. And even if you're not cray, maybe you were having a long day if you believe what Drew would say, especially something to that extent. Y'all remember too that story that was going around? I don't know if y'all caught wind of it, and this was like a couple of years ago by now. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily not true that she doesn't know him, but that her and LeBron, I don't know if it's that they used to date or some old craziness, and it seemed like that started falling apart at the seams, like that wasn't even the case. I said, Drew, we ain't got the time, okay? But anyways, we pan over to Kelly's where the Cynthia Bailey arrives, then Portia right after. And now Cynthia's mentioning in her confession of the type of man she now wants to date. But in an interview that I also saw, I remember her saying that she actually does have a man at this point. I feel like she mentioned that she'd been seeing him low key for like a year and maybe he's someone from overseas. I might not have that part correctly or correct, but I definitely know that she's in a relationship, at least last I checked. And that was like at least 2 weeks ago that I saw this video. And so my new buddy enters the building, Shamia, looking cute as usual. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad Kelly explained why her dog is so colorful because when I first saw that little thing, like a couple of episodes back, I'm like, why does the dog look like he's part of a circus act? I have like that's just too much going on. And so apparently she shares that the dog was stolen before. And I feel like as a means to just be able to keep up with him or maybe to make to distinguish him from other dogs. I don't know, whatever she said. That's why she did what she did. I was like, okay, a bit much, but you got to do what works for you, right? I mean, we can't get him like some type of chip inserted. Don't they have those? Or I don't know. So they began recapping the peace brunch. And now we switch to Nazaline with her husband talking about how she's being investigated with regard to her license and having a background check done. And I'm pretty certain, even with that, there's been some news going on about how that's not even fully the truth, that you don't get investigated for stuff like that. Then I think there's something where while she's mad, folks out here calling her a fraud, allegedly, there's video of a young man, and I don't remember his name because I've never seen him before, but he was just breaking down some research that he did, and I feel like he said he even maybe took her course or did something close enough to it to show that apparently she has these courses that you can buy to pretty much get into the game like she did and make money, but that's questionable because it's like her website hasn't even been up that long considering how long she's been doing what she's doing. So all allegedly, but I'm just saying this was floating around in the streets. Y'all probably got it more clear than I do. Hit the dance floor if you do. But the point is your girl stuff just ain't adding up to nothing good. That's what I do know, allegedly. And so now she claims Angela lacks empathy. And I'm like, why? Because she asked a legitimate, non-offensive question. Like I said before, Britt's deck, in my opinion, is not completely full. Then she said she could have mentioned how she heard Charles has a baby. I'm like, do we even believe you, girl? Like, okay. And that was supposed to be groundbreaking. I'm like sitting here like, girl, next. Give us something else. And did y'all hear how she even said Charles' name because of her nose? She's like, Charles. Charles. And I'm just like, girl, be quiet. Okay. You not making any sense. And you sound crazy, like legitimately, literally and figuratively. And for the record, I will say again, I understand why Britt has issues with women hating on her. And I'm going to keep saying that. And why they hate on her, because look how gutter deep she goes now with Angela by trying to spread such a vicious rumor just because she was asked a simple question because she was making no sense. And Angela was even there in support of Britt's little silly lunch. And Britt couldn't even appreciate Angela showing up for her. And I said, see, she has no rationalization skills, just a mess. And so we fast forward to Portia advising the ladies that she's inviting them for a Cowboy Carter themed birthday celebration in her honor in Nashville, Tennessee. Have you guys ever been to Nashville? I want to go to Nashville now. I've been to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg quite a few times. Gatlinburg is absolutely beautiful, but I love it out there. Pigeon Forge has so much to do with your family, yourself, whomever. But I've never been to Nashville, so I definitely want to get to those parts for sure, or that part. And they asked if Drew was invited, and she said she didn't invite her. Angela asked if she can invite a plus one, and this is while they're like FaceTiming on the phone. At one point, we see a flashback, and I believe she was ignored by Portia in that. Yet we see her invite Drew anyway, and Drew says no at first. And I said, great response. Like, why would you even want to go somewhere where you're not invited? Like, make that part make sense. And she was feeling like the invite should have come from Portia herself. And I couldn't agree with her more. And she says if Portia's okay with it, she'll show up on behalf of Angela. Meanwhile, we see production showing Portia saying she don't want no parts to Drew. Okay. And so we already know this is going to turn into a crap show. And I don't want to talk about Angela's nose, y'all, because I really like her. But can I just then very lightly state I just don't understand why she did it? I really don't. I don't. And so Jill meets Britt for dinner. And I'm just like, oh God, can we fast forward this? But okay, if I fast forward, we ain't going to really have anything to talk about. And so now she's asking Britt if she's ever sold the cat for some cash, if you get my drift. And Britt says no. And I said, I smell an old catfish lie, allegedly. Okay, you ain't never sold the cat for some cash. Drew then asks if, see, if this is now becoming a recurring theme, allegedly, I feel like Britt is out here proving herself not to be the most truthful herself. Okay? With the whole just business aspect of things, from this whole adult life of things, it's just not looking good for the home team, if you ask me. But moving forward, Drew then asks if she's ever done the P word, which we know is that, adult kind of stuff. And Britt got the stuttering and muttering, talking about, I mean, gosh, I can't even talk. I mean, I did. I mean, I did it. No, I didn't. Like, it took all of that for you to say that. And back in the day, they used to always say, you get the stutter and you ain't telling the truth. Well, if you got to do all of that, the truth would it should flow right out your mouth so smooth. Okay, so smoothly, it's not even funny. But when you're doing all of that, it's because, the lies are seeping out. And so, rewind. She says she hasn't done it. Before Drew even asked her the questions, though, y'all, she says she's always been an open book. So any questions Drew had, she had no problems answering. So then, open book, why did you attack Angela for asking a question nowhere near to the level of what Drew just asked you? Like, make that make sense. Anyways, hopping back forward, she said she did a webcam with her best friend. That's a woman. And they sat and answered questions with no clothes on. And I'm like, okay, why'd y'all do that? Like, what was the point? What exactly was the point of that? Now that we're learning Brit more, leave it up to her. I could only imagine what those kind of questions were. I'm going to guess that they fit more to the narrative of why they were sitting there with no clothes on. But if it was just basic conversation like, oh, girl, like, you going to so-and-so's house on Friday at the party, or where you want to go to eat next? I heard they got good wings there. That is giving weird. Okay. But who am I at the end of the day? I mean, yeah. She then asked Drew if at Shamia's, she said she knew the recipient of the person that received what she was giving in that photo that Kenya showed. And Drew said, no, I didn't say I knew the person. I just say I might. I said, here we go, Drew, with the getting tripped up on the words. And so she cleans it up by saying that she likes to joke around. So it was a joke. And Brett wants Drew to put herself in her shoes with how that looks, blase, blase, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, it is what it is. And you were on that poster doing what you did. And it was you. And we ain't even going to justify that. So let's move right on along. So Britt claims she likes Drew's energy and that they're good with one another. And I said, personally, I felt like Britt is just trying to form her little army and have people on her side just in case. especially with the way things have gone and, not really turned in her favor. Now, I know she's out here in these streets thinking that it is, but she's making herself look more and more foolish as things come out. And so Drew and Ralph were headed to court. They had to wait for him to leave first from out the basement. And the way they introduced the scene, all grim and stuff, did y'all catch that? I was like, what's going on? What happened? Like, and this is all for court. That was a bit much. I really thought something had happened. And so Drew's goal is to finally get Ralph to move out and pay child support. She wants her case to stay sealed. Apparently, Drew wants to keep the record sealed because they're pretty incriminating against Ralph, right? The information. And I know she kind of mentioned, even in the prior episode, and I believe they did a flashback in this one, how maybe some of that information will just include how he's just been cheating just all up and through around and about town. There's a whole lot of that going on. The fact that he had been, I think, taking money out of the bank accounts, and also, what is it that it's not that he hasn't paid child support. I know she wants child support, but it was something else that I can't remember off the top. And so after court, we learned that the judge ordered the docs to be unsealed, which Ralph is happy about, and he still gets to be in the basement, which he's thoroughly excited about. He even creates a dance in that moment, which was so lame. And I said, call me wrong, y'all, but it feels like Ralph is playing games and at this point does not want to offer Drew any type of peace. Like, let this lady move on with her life, Ralph. Like, just stop it. But they call him a narcissist, right? And so things just ain't that simple. It's like once you come for the narcissist, you're in trouble. If you're not singing their praises and, you know, throwing parades and parties in their honor and letting them know how amazing they are, then you actually aren't on their good side. And so she's clearly upset about the verdict and worried her kids will see all this on the internet one day. And I said, well, not for nothing, Drew, but I mean, they'll also see it on this show too. Okay. You consider that. Why does Ralph have a confessional? I asked again once we saw him. And I understand we already saw this in one of the prior episodes, but just kind of bringing it back to memory, I'm just like, this just looks so ridiculous. Okay. It is so unnecessary. I know he's just like living his life in this moment, but I'm like, Ralph, we do not need nor do we want to see you. And so Ralph is explaining his car ride, that there's a misconception that he didn't love his wife. And we even see Drew kind of questioning that after all is said and done. And I'm like, yeah, did you really though, Ralph? Again, when we go back to the narcissist, 9 times out of 10, from what I've learned, they're not capable of showing like true love. And so, and I might be wrong, but that's just how I know it to be. Especially if you're in a relationship with them, the hoops and ladders you've got to jump through, and that's still not good enough for them. I don't know how that would equate to love. So he says he wants the records unsealed for full transparency reasons and to make the playing field equal. And I said, no, you just want to be the antagonist that you are and keep this thing going and going and going. And we see Drew in her car, even before she pulls off, she's kind of yelling out at Ralph how, he was pretty much on some bull for what he just did in court. And like, he's an a-hole. We even see her become emotional. She begins to cry. And I definitely felt bad for Drew in that moment because you can tell it's a lot. And I can only imagine when one day your life is just all these butterflies and roses and good things. And then it starts to get a little funny and sideways and things start to fall apart. And then you find yourself there, with it all ending. Like, how did we get here? Like, this is crazy. And just become enemies. I always find that to be the wildest thing when people go through divorce and the ones who loved each other so much just start to be so hateful. Like, divorce is a serious thing. So her pain is definitely deep, you can tell, and it's not a game for her. That's one thing I will say. We can call Drew a non-truth teller all the day long, but I think it's very obvious and apparent that she's really going through and that this is a tough time for her. So definitely wishing her the best and just so many better things on the other side, leaving Ralph behind, knowing that you got to release what's not good for you to make room in them hands for what is, to receive what you deserve and what is really meant for you. And so now we see the ladies, they get together to travel to Nashville. And y'all, I ain't no Portia fan. When I tell you the way Honey was wearing those black pants with that outfit, I said, yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. If all Portia did was walk and not say anything, she'd be good in my book. No, I'm kidding. Because listen, I know there's more to her, and I understand she's a fun time and all the things. But like I said, I've already explained to y'all my reasons why I'm just not a fan of her. But I loved that outfit. I really did. And she looked absolutely fabulous. And can I tell you, I just knew they were walking to a private jet, but boarded a regular plane. And I said, oh, Portia, girl, where's the jet? What are we doing here? So, like she said in the other episode, where she said she can't be spending that money because she got to, what she say? Something about the divorce money, or she got to save to get her divorce money together. It was funny, whatever she said. So they arrive in Nashville, left Angela all the way back behind because apparently Angela was running late. They arrive to the house, which is nice, and begin assigning rooms. Shamia gets her room, and you know, Shamia ain't Shamia unless she's twerking or gyrating somehow. So she's humping all on the bed. And I'm like, this lady has a whole husband, but always acts like she's in so much heat, like she ain't getting none. Why? Like, it just be too much for me, y'all. I'm sorry. At first it was funny, at first it was cute. Now it's like, okay, girl, every twist and turn, you got to pop and shake and drop it. And all, it's like, please, enough already. So we fast forward. Britt is talking about how she feels Angela be switching sides, and I can't lie. She was giving that energy a bit before, because remember the text that Angela had sent to Kenya when everything went down, and then she sent Britt something that was somewhat to the contrary of that. So it does really make it seem like she, likes to play both sides, which is what Shamia agrees to too, how she just doesn't like people who switches up like that. And right on cue, after they say that, Angela walks through the door. Angela could feel, she said in her confessional, that they were talking about her. And I said, now some of them be joking, right, about her age, but that's how them seasoned women work. Okay, for that intuitive side that kicks in to put them on notice on things that be going on when they ain't even around. All right. And sidebar again, I got to go back to Angela's nose because I don't know why the focus is on the nose so much for me, because I'm just like, again, Angela, you are a nice looking woman. I bet there was absolutely no reason for you to have gone and modified and altered your nose. I want to know what her original nose looked like. Have you guys seen a picture? It's probably as simple as me Googling. If y'all have seen it, please hit the dance floor and let me know that that lady really did not need to go and get a nose job. Please let me know. Anyways, felt like she should have left that nose right on alone. So I will say though, even with the nose job, or at least she don't sound like Nasaline. Okay, so we'll take that nose. They listen. Have Nasaline go to your doctor to get that fixed. Okay. So Angela mentions to Portia she would like for Drew to come on the trip, and instantly Portia gets annoyed. Then that turns into Angela saying she actually did invite Drew on the trip. And I thought that was totally out of order. For starters, you don't just start inviting people to other people's events without them knowing. Like, I just think it's kind of tacky just in general if you've been sent an invitation and there is not an extension of a plus one, and then you just show up with somebody. Or maybe it's okay to ask if you could bring someone. I personally don't when that happens and when it, because if they intended for you to invite someone, they would have included that in the invitation. You know what I'm saying? But then on top of that, it's like now it's also a plus one who the guest of honor doesn't even fool with, doesn't even see it for, doesn't even like. That's too much. After I thought that, Portia immediately said the same exact thing in her confession. She's like, I don't even like this girl, and she's not wrong. And there's mention with Britt and Kelly saying that they were shopping in Neiman Marcus and ended up running into Angela. Britt was saying Angela looked the whole mess, had some glasses on, hair was all over the place, like she had just had some type of work done and was trying to hide from them and didn't want to be seen. So Britt says she went over to her and gave her a hug. And from there, she asks Angela, yeah, but was it genuine? Like, was it a real hug? And, Angela was like, yeah, it was a hug. I'm not a fake person. If I didn't want to give it, I wouldn't have given it, for lack of better words. And so, they seem to be kind of okay in that moment. Then we just see the girls just kind of go off in their rooms or whatever. I said, hold on, sidebar. Did Britt say she bought a lock in case people act up or something like that? I said, oh, girl, that's the only thing you bought this time? You ain't got nothing else in your bag like you did before or like you threatened before? Just a lock, huh? Okay, girl. Okay. And why did Angela then go in her room and call Drew and tell her the vibe is good and everyone knows that she's coming? I said, okay, now hold on, Angela. Hold on. Now you twisted that just a bit, okay? Because while it's true that now everyone does know that Drew is coming, what's not true is them all being good with it, especially Portia. Portia's not good with that at all. So that's the part you probably should have disclosed to Drew. Like, well, Drew, I mean, it kind of is what we figured it would be. Portia's not feeling exactly the greatest about it, but I think she'll roll with it. Maybe if, y'all just keep it cool or whatever. Like, give her the heads up the appropriate way. And also give her the opportunity to have the option to change her mind and decide, oh, for real, she still kind of wasn't feeling it. Nah, girl, I ain't going to come in. I'll catch you when you get back and we'll hang out then. It's as simple as that. And so Portia's expressing to Cynthia before they head out for the night that she's not cool with what Angela did by inviting Drew, but that, she's just going to play everything cool. And I get where she was coming from her vibe, because she's in essence saying, listen, I'm not about to let anything kill my vibe. It is what it is. I can't change it. I don't like it. I got a problem with it. We'll deal with this later. But as of now, I'm about to show my behind off and have a good time. So they go link up with Portia's sister and some of Portia's other friends that came out to celebrate with her. They do some mechanical bull riding. Some other states away, Drew is celebrating her album release with just her sister. And I said, child, that night and day scene, like you got Portia surrounded by all these women, and then you got Drew with just her sister. I said, the way that Drew and sister scene would be me all the day long, because I don't like fooling with a whole bunch of people like that, especially a whole bunch of women like that. It's just too suffocatingly much for me. Okay. I'm telling you, I tell you all the time, it's not about quantity, it's about quality for me. I don't need a whole lot of anything, just as long as I have a little bit of good of something. That's what matters the most. And so I just really like that kind of just what we call that, a juxtaposition. No, maybe not. I don't know if that's the right word, but I just like just the difference in the scene, how it's so night and day. And so now we go back to Portia sharing with Manetta, who asked her where Drew was. And we know Manetta for her having her debut on Atlanta one of the seasons prior. Manetta is a very sweet person, but in my opinion, why we didn't see her again, because she just wasn't that interesting. She just wasn't, but she seems really chill. And I've seen her around and about in different shows and everything like that. She seems to be everybody's friend. So you gotta love her, I'm sure. And then, of course, I'm not sure if she still wants to be known in this way, but it's just the fact of the matter also being the mother to Neo's children, right? The ex. Neo is her ex. And so, anyways, going back to that, she's asking where Drew is, and now that gets the conversation going about Drew not even really having been invited, but Angela invited her. So now Portia and Angela are going back and forth. Portia tells Angela that she feels pressured. Angela tells Portia she feels like she's giving bully energy with the whole situation. And now we get to Drew and Dennis coming up, of course, in the conversation, because we know it's part of the storyline that has to be forced and pushed. And then one of Portia's friends said Drew was tasting Dennis's hot dog. And I'm just like, now why would you throw that out there, girl, like that? Like, why would you, like, girl, like, how do you know? And do you even know Drew at the end of the day? Were you just trying to have a little TV moment, whoever you are? That was just so just not cute. Not cute at all. And I'm like, so now Thanks to her little friend throwing that out there. I'm like, is this the new narrative of what we're going to hear? Guess what? I'm still bored. Not interested. Okay. And that was it, y'all. Like, that is all we got. And I was just like, okay, trying to stay awake, all the things. But I definitely want to come see y'all. Like the way I tell you, I got my whole PJs on right now because I'm about to go lay down and watch my Love on the Spectrum show, which I told y'all I absolutely love. Okay, to bring me some joy and stuff before I call it a whole entire night. So like I said, most importantly, I just wanted to come show y'all some love and just chat it up with y'all for a bit. So at this point, the music is on, the dance floor is lit. Don't be no prude and hold the wall. Let me know your thoughts. Were you guys a little bored this episode like I was? I didn't find anything to be so jaw dropping or just so exciting to talk about. I feel like we went from an extreme high back to just kind of like a low at this point. Like, oh God, let's pick this thing up. Okay, please. Do you guys feel like Angela was out of order for how she moved? Do you think it was okay? Are y'all with the whole bit of doing like bringing extra people who aren't invited to situations? Or do you think that's not tacky or whatever? Y'all definitely have got to let me know. Are y'all going to be and are as bored as I am with this whole Dennis and Drew situation? It's like, for the love of it all, please just quit it and let's find another reason Portia to be mad at Drew to make it make better sense. Okay, please. Anyways, y'all, let me know your thoughts. You know, I'm always appreciative and interested to hear what you've got to say. So, for my DJ shout out, right quick to wrap this on up, I will say that this time I did get to see two of my subscriber notifications come in. But even before that, rewind because I jacked up my new party goer, my new VIP guest list individuals name. So, whole new gentry, and see, I still jacked it up. Let me try this again. A whole new gentry. Shout out to you. Mwah. Thank you so much again. I appreciate your patience and your understanding with me messing up your name, but I definitely want to get it right, and I will get it right moving forward for sure. And to the new party people that I did see come in, Anna, hey girl, I saw you, okay? I saw you subscribed and whatever. And also staff J75, what it do? Okay, you guys are the best. And for those of you, because the number still even increased aside from that, I am so bummed that I didn't get to catch you, but know that it's all love because I appreciate each and every last single one of you who have hit that button to be a part of my party. And I hope for you new ones here that you'll enjoy it. I hope for the ones who have been here that you'll continue to rock with me. Okay. Let me know when I'm right. Let me know when I'm wrong, but still show it as love and let it be all love with one another. For all of you, I'm sending y'all some social hugs. Okay. And you know, I will be back next week to do it all over again. But again, also for my folks that hit the dance floor, you know what I'm saying? It was a little, but it was given a lot. Okay. Because I told y'all it's about the quality for me. Shout out to Sheila Dion. Hey, girl. Sheila Dion be doing what it do. Okay. Can I say that? Hey, honey. My girl, Pap, always showing love, y'all. I don't care. Listen, Pap could just come through with a heart, and I know what it is. I'm so grateful to her for that. Spencer, my original party king. OMG. Like, good sir, you already know too. I appreciate y'all so much. You guys, so listen, until we meet up again next week, I just hope and pray that you guys are in good spirits. And if you weren't in good spirits by this video, maybe I said a little something, even in the boredom of this material that we were given this week to witness and watch. That'll make your spirits like sing just a little bit or make you smile just a little bit at the end of the day, because that's what it's about. But know you guys are truly appreciated. I hope you can feel my energy because I really am grateful for you guys and just enjoy being able to come speak to you every week, like for real, for real. Okay? Till we meet again, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.